I'm here today to tell you what's killing your real estate business, and it's not what you think. It's not your leads. It's not your knowledge or anything else like that. It's just your unwillingness to put yourself out there. Avoidance is killing your career. The thing that I talk about this year, a big push with my realtors, has just been have more conversations with people. Just literally, they don't even have to be real estate conversations. Just talk to people. And we've even talked about like how we start conversations at like network meetings and things like that. Guys, in real estate, whether you like it or not, you're in sales. And if you want to be successful in sales, you have to have conversations. And initially, look, sometimes these conversations are uncomfortable, but they don't have to be. The more you get comfortable with having these conversations, the more they feel normal. And the more to be honest with you, they get to a point where it almost even becomes fun. And think about this as a realtor. How many times are you afraid to call a homeowner and say, hey, are you thinking about selling your house? Or, geez, I had this client and I sent them a text and now they're ghosting me. Well, did you send them another text? Like how many did you send them? Or, do you follow up on a lead that didn't respond the first time or the second or even the third or fourth time? Having conversations about motivation and timeline and finances, those sometimes get weird, but I'm telling you now, those are the conversations you need to have if you want to be a successful realtor. And I know what you're thinking. And on the surface, like we build in excuses for this stuff, right? Because we say things like, well, I don't want to bother them. I want to wait until they're ready. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to sound like a salesman. And it's like, you're giving yourself an excuse to not generate business and to not generate income for yourself when you say things like that. So I want you to think about it like this. A homeowner might not wake up just automatically and say, you know what? Today is the day I'm going to sell my house. I think it rarely happens like that. The conversation that they have with themselves, I think it's usually more like this. I'm kind of frustrated with my space right now. And, maybe I wonder how much my house is actually worth. Or, if I change my job, do I have to sell this house? Or, I don't really love this commute. It's starting to get long. It's starting to get tiring. I'm losing energy. I think those are the things that homeowners, those are the conversations that happen in their minds before they're ever ready to sell. So you have to have conversations with people and just kind of let them tell you where they are in the process. And sometimes those sales create themselves. And the same thing happens when it comes to leads. Hey, I reached out and they didn't get back to me, so they must not be interested. But that might not be it. It might just be they got busy. They forgot. They get 50 texts a day. They get 100 emails a day, and they don't have time to respond to each and every one. All right. Maybe you asked them a question and they didn't know what to say. So what does that tell you about your follow-up? It can't just be one text. It can't just be one email. Quit thinking that when someone doesn't reply to one of your texts or emails that they're not interested or that they don't want your services. Think about the things that go on in your life that make it hard for you to answer every text and every email, and realize that same exact thing might be happening with your clients. And here's something that I want to say, and I want you to hear this. You're not losing deals because there isn't enough opportunity. You're losing deals because you're avoiding moments where opportunity actually shows up. All right. And I want you to think about this. I want you to think about these uncomfortable moments. Calling someone who didn't call you back doesn't feel great, right? Asking a homeowner if they've considered selling. All right. I know that creates some uncomfortable feelings for people. Following up again when you've already reached out twice. Do you have it to reach out a third time? And I know those moments can be uncomfortable, but let me ask you this. What happens if you don't do it? I'll tell you. Nothing. Nothing happens. No conversation, no clarity, no deals. And I know what you're thinking. People think, it takes such a high level of confidence to have those uncomfortable moments, and it does. And I know a lot of times I hear people say, once I have the confidence, I plan on doing that more. But guys, it works in reverse. You don't get confident and then get into action. It's getting into action that builds confidence. So if you never take these steps, if you never reach out, if you never put the responsibility on yourself to create these conversations, the confidence isn't going to get there either. So if you want to find more business in this market, you need to have more conversations. So I'm going to create a challenge for you. Every day this week, I want you to try to have 5 conversations that you would normally avoid. And we talked about what they are, right? Asking a homeowner if they're ready to sell, texting someone again if they didn't text you back, things like that. Not 50, all right? Just 5. Just 5. Just get started. And what I think you're going to find is that when you reach out to someone that you sent a text to and they didn't respond and you reach out a second time, now some of them do start to respond. And now it does create opportunities for you. And once you start doing those things and the opportunities start to come through, it gets a little bit easier to, instead of having 5 conversations a day, now you want to start having conversations. So it gets easy to have 10 or 15 or more conversations a day that lead directly to business. Because here's the thing about confidence and here's the thing about conversations. Once a conversation starts, anything can happen. They might not be ready today, but you start building trust, they'll remember you. And when they're ready, they may come to you. So as a realtor, if you're sitting there and you're thinking, I need more deals, I'm here to tell you to get more deals. You don't necessarily even need more leads. You just need a little bit more courage, a little bit more willingness to have those uncomfortable conversations that so many realtors avoid or so many realtors look to stay away from. Because the willingness to lean into those conversations is what's going to give you those chances that other realtors who won't do it simply never get. So the success that you want in this business, guys, it's in the conversations you've been avoiding. So let today be the day that you break out of that fear mold and you get the courage and the willingness to start doing what you need to do to be successful. It's a lot closer than you think. Thanks for joining us for today's episode, everybody. If you want to hear more content, follow us at Real Estate Right Now Pod on YouTube. Once you're there, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. And if you want to follow me directly, check me out. It's Dave Wychak at Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, all the socials that you're already using.